Hi, Misha. Hi, Steve. Hi, Dan. Oh, I think we've worked. I think it's worked today. That's good. Although there's a bit of a lag. So how are we all? Day 3. We're on day 3, self-image day of the 5-day Science of Success Quick Start Challenge. I have been watching in the group. I think there's quite a few people to catch up. People in the States who will have seen it later. Hi, Dustin. So what I wanted to do this evening, I've got a few things I want to cover this evening. So the first thing, very important thing, is that I have just opened the Thinking into Results intake for May. So you will have seen me posting little bits, you'll have heard me mentioning Thinking into Results over the last few days. The next intake starts on the 4th of May. So I have put together an early bird offer for anybody who wants to join us. You will be getting the details about it. You'll be getting quite a lot of emails about it because I want to make sure everybody knows what it includes, because it is phenomenal. The package that, if I say so myself, the package that I've put together for this week is, you won't see anything anywhere like it. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about it now. I'm not going to give you the big sell. But just to warn you, you will get quite a few messages about it. Hopefully not so many that you block me. But I am going to be sending you some testimonials, and so you can see the kinds of results people have had. But I am just passionate about helping as many people as possible achieve that C-type goal, because that's what I do. So that's why, I want as many of you as possible to get your eyes on it. I've put together a payment plan that means there shouldn't be restrictions for anybody. You can pay in full if you want to. You can split it over a full year if you want to. But I'll send the details out. As I say, you'll be getting lots of different information about it. If anybody's got any questions, just message me or put questions in the group. Also, I'm opening up two types of calls. So some of you will have had a message today about discovery sessions. Discovery sessions are one-to-one calls that you can have with me, 30 minutes, and they are for people who really want to move forward with this, whether it's in Thinking into Results or it's with some other kind of package. The one-to-one calls are for people who want to chat with me about the goals and about what's the next best step for them. So you should have had a message about them. And if you want to book a one-to-one call with me, you go to emmahaig.com/121. So that's emmahaig.com/1, and you can book a 30-minute chat with me, private conversation with me. The other type of call that I have set up is some hot seats. So tomorrow and Friday I've opened up some sessions which are group hot seats. So you can just come on. The session is, I think it's an hour, and I'll just fit as many people as I can into that hour who've got questions about the goals or about self-image or about terror barrier or about coronavirus, whatever. Just some hot seats so you can talk to me, and that's in a group setting. So you can book onto that at emmahaig.com/hot seats. So it's kind of like a bit of group coaching, really. If you want to book one of those, I'll put the links in the group. I'll make sure it's very clear what's for what. So there's private 30-minute calls available for people who really want to move forward and want to know what the next best step is for them. And then there are hot seats available for people who just want to experience the group coaching and ask my help on particular or ask for feedback on particular subjects. So I'll put the links for all of it in the group. And as I say, there'll be emails coming out and Facebook messages and you'll see stuff in the Facebook group as well. Please read them. I know, we all get tons of emails and tons of messages. Even if you don't register for Thinking Into Results, they are quite informative emails that I send out, and it's interesting to see what other people have done and what kind of goals other people have and things like that. So please make sure you read them. You'll get something out of them even if you don't want to join us for the mentorship. So let me just see if we've got any. We've got Elizabeth. Hi Elizabeth. Hi Connor. Dan's still here. Justin's here. Right. So the early bird offer is this week for Thinking Into Results. So if you are interested at all, make sure you read those emails and either get me any questions or just register to join us. What else do I want to say? Right. So self-image is the topic for today. You've probably seen a post that I put from Pam in the group. It's actually from January. I kind of regurgitated it again for yesterday, to do with self-image, because I wanted you to see the kind of language that people use once they get this self-image thing right. Once they really get it and it clicks for them, everything changes. Okay, and what I mean by that is, once you really understand who you are, who at your core, the spirit of you, that little flame that's inside you, that little life source that's inside you, that's unique to you, once you understand who that person is and that person can achieve anything, everything changes. Okay, now, as I said earlier in the day, we are actually born like that. We're born thinking we can do anything because that's the way we were created. We were born with infinite potential, and you kind of just assume that everything's doable and nothing's out of reach, and that's just, when you're a little kid, that's just how you are. And what happens is we get all this crap layered on top. We get this doubt and fear and worry and things that you've heard from other people, things that people have told you about yourself, things you've seen happen to other people, all these experiences and these things that we take in with our physical senses, they layer all these negative things over the top of that. And we have to peel those away to get to that you inside you that is perfect and that can do anything that you want, and that knows you can do anything you want, and is persistent and has faith and has unbreakable belief in yourself and has desire and all those things that we've spoken about so far this week. You were born with those things. It's just that you've got all these layers on the top that make you think maybe you can't do this, maybe other people have got certain things about them that you haven't got, or there's reasons why those people are successful and you're not. There's reasons why, even though they've got the same amount of hours in the day, those people can do things that you can't. It's all paradigm that we spoke about yesterday, and it's self-image. So it's all been layered over the top, and what we have to do is peel those layers away to bring out that perfect you, and that is what we do in Thinking Into Results, and that's what Pam was talking about in that comment that I posted yesterday. So that's kind of where we've started today, is trying to get clear on how you feel about yourself and how you want to feel about yourself. So the task where we're looking at other people and saying, what kind of traits would you like to have? What kind of characteristics would you like to have? They're all inside you already. We've just got to bring them out. So it's not that you are learning something new, it's that we're peeling everything back to reveal those things, to reveal those characteristics and those positive parts of you that have been covered up. And when you do that, a whole new world of opportunity opens up. Because when you have unstoppable confidence and self-belief, the world's your oyster. So as I keep saying, I know it's only a 5-day challenge, it's supposed to be a quick start, so I've given you the tasks that hopefully will start you moving forward on that, but I wanted to give you more of an overview about why I've picked those tasks and what the end goal is, I suppose. But what you've got to understand is your self-image and your paradigm, your self-image and your paradigm, you know, your beliefs and your habitual behaviour, it's very, very tightly connected, and those things are determining the path you're going on. So we're all going on a path of some kind, we're all going down a path somewhere, but most of us haven't decided what that path is. Most of us are on a path that was decided by other people because of the beliefs we've been given and the ideas and feelings and everything else that's built up in that paradigm, that's all been given to us from other people as we've grown up. Most people don't make the decision that they're going to decide where their path's going and that they're going to commit to doing everything they need to do that. So you're kind of on an autopilot. You know, that's exactly what it is. It's an autopilot. Your self-image is taking you somewhere. Okay, that your paradigm is taking you somewhere. That little operating system inside you is heading in a direction, and you might not know what that direction is, and you need to know what that direction is. You know, and this is why we try to change things, we try new things, we try new ideas, we see new things and think, oh, that might be a good thing to do. And we start to try it, and our self-image and our paradigm go, whoa, hang on a minute, that's not what we normally do. No, let's get back on track. And that's why it's so hard to stick to new things. You've got to change that self-image and the paradigm first, so they're in alignment with where you want to go, so that they're working with you and not working against you. So I said earlier in the day, Psycho-Cybernetics, brilliant book if you want to work on your self-image on your own. This is a really good book. It's a book that I use with my clients. So that is a really good resource if you want one for yourself. Let me see, we've got lots of people joining now. Lynn's here. Hi Lynn. Hi Georgia. Hi Terry. Right, so there are a couple of other things that I thought you might find useful. The main one being the law of compensation. Now, this again has its roots in self-image. So, you know, I've spoken every night about one of the universal laws. So the law of compensation is the law that determines how much you will ever earn. Isn't that interesting? There's a law that determines how much you are ever going to earn. And that law basically states that your earnings will be in direct relation to three things. So the amount of income you earn will always be in direct relation to these three things. So number one is the need for what you do. Number two is your ability to do it. And number three is the difficulty there is in replacing you. Okay, so number one, the need for what you do. So how great is the need for what you do? Number two, how good are you at doing it, your ability to do it? And number three, how difficult it is to replace you. So let's go through them individually. So number one, the need for what you do. Okay, so the law of compensation, your compensation will be in direct relation to the need for what you do. Now, for most of you, there is always a need for what you do. Okay, whatever it is you do, there's a need for it, or you wouldn't be doing it. Okay, and even in uncertain times, even in, you know, economic downturns, there are always people somewhere that need what you do. Okay. Number two is your ability to do it. Okay, so how good are you at the thing that you do? I'll come back to that in a minute. And number three is the difficulty in replacing you. Well, the difficulty there is in replacing you is going to depend on how good you are at what you do. So if you're really, really good at what you do, you're going to be very difficult to replace. Okay, so really, The only thing you need to concentrate on is your ability to do what you do. You need to make sure that you are absolutely outstanding at the thing it is that you've decided you're going to do. If you make sure that you put everything you can into being amazing at what you do, there'll always be a need for it, and you'll be very difficult to replace. Okay? Now, this ties in tightly with self-image, because you will never outperform your self-image. So if at the back of all this there's a self-image that's, you know, limitation, lack, kind of thinking, I'm not as good at this, I'm not as good as they are at this, people aren't going to want me, there's always people who are better than me, I don't have this, I don't have their qualifications, I don't have their experience, I'm too shy to speak in front of people, I don't have the qualities of somebody who can really make it big in this area. All those kind of thoughts, that's all negative self-image, and that will affect your ability to do what you're doing. Okay, so self-image is at the core of everything. The more you improve your self-image, the better you actually get at what you do. It's just the way it works. So you have to focus on two things. You have to focus on creating an amazing self-image so that you have unstoppable confidence, and your ability to do what you do so that you are absolutely, you know that you are the best you can be at what it is that you do. And if you crack those two things, you will be able to earn as much as you want to earn. That is the law of compensation. Okay, so very tightly tied with self-image. Brit, hi Brit, finally got the timing right. So these laws that we're speaking about on an evening, I know I talked about them a little bit on Monday. There's such a, I keep saying fundamental, I need a new word. They play such a huge role in your personal growth. And remember, all this week is about the science of success. It's about achieving something more than you currently have. Okay? And the laws come into play more than you will ever know. All of them. There are, depending on who you listen to, there are between 7 and 15 laws. I'm not going to go through them all now. I've picked the ones out that I think are most relevant for what we're doing this week. But we use them all the time in Thinking Into Results. You have to make sure that you are abiding by these laws. And I know if you're not used to this kind of language, if you haven't done this kind of thing before, it sounds a bit woo-woo, but they are real. Whether you understand them or not, whether you think they're true or not, whether you think they're a thing or not, they are. I would never have believed this until probably 3 or 4 years ago. I just thought it was a load of bunkum, and that's why my results weren't changing. And I had to change my mindset, and it was only when I got into Thinking Into Results and learned all this that my own results started to change. And I see it so much with other people. It's like a light switching on. It's like suddenly everything falls into place because you've been trying so hard to change things, to change your results by working harder, by learning more, by doing more courses, by changing this, that and the other, by trying one thing, then trying another, then trying something else. And actually all you need to do is change what's inside you. And once you change what's inside you and you develop that belief and that desire for that thing, whatever it is that you really, really want, for that life that you really, really want, everything falls into place and you start to work out the how, and you start to have the ideas and have the thoughts that you need, and to attract the resources, and attract the people that you need to be able to do that. And that is the part, it's that part that's a little bit intangible, that's a little bit, sounds a bit woo-woo to people. That is the bit that most people are missing. And then you're kind of playing catch up. And that's why so many people, so many of my clients say, I wish I'd learnt this decades ago, because now I feel like I'm on catch up. You know, if only I'd learnt it in my 20s, in my 30s, I'd be a multi-millionaire. So they are a thing. If you're not joining us in Thinking Into Results, I strongly recommend you get the book Working with the Law by Raymond Hollywell. That's a really good place to start, and learn about them and immerse yourself in them, because they will change your life. They will absolutely change your life. Hi, Carrie. Oh, I didn't reply to Carrie's message. Sorry, Carrie. I'll be speaking to you tomorrow. Steve, that's really interesting. I don't know which bit's interesting, Steve, because there's a delay, but thank you. Whatever was interesting, I'm glad you found it interesting. Also, I said I was going to have a glass of wine, and I've run out of wine. It's a poor old state, isn't it? And I didn't have time to go to the shop. Not there's probably any left anyway. I did go to the food shop this morning in the hope to get something for dinner, and it's just carnage. Absolute. There were no vegetables. This is in a big supermarket here. There were only cabbages. The people who work in the store had obviously wanted to fill all the empty crates and all the empty shelves, so they just put cabbages on each of the shelves, and there were just people stood shaking their heads in disbelief. No bread, no pasta, no meat, no chicken, no beef, no pork. So I've got like dried noodles, still no toilet rolls. What was that last book called? The last book, Working with the Law. Working with the Law by Raymond Hollywell, Steve. Hi, Mary. Yeah, George has got it. Working with the Law. Working with the Law, Mary. You can always go back and look at these Facebook Lives again. They just sit in the Facebook group until Sunday. But that's a very good law. We have the programme Working with the Law as well, which is a really good programme. That's a programme recorded by Bob Proctor and Mary Morrissey, and that's based on that book by Raymond Hollywell, because Mary was one of Raymond Hollywell's students. So Bob and Mary made a programme out of that book. I'll put the link in the Facebook group actually, so you can have a look at it. But remember, you've got to look at the Thinking Into Results link first before you look at the Working with the Law. So, do we have any questions? Do we have any shares? Any wins? It'd be nice to see a hashtag win today. Come on, George, you're normally good for a hashtag win. Just scroll and make sure I haven't missed any comments. Oh, Friday. Oh, we're speaking on Friday, Carrie. I thought it was tomorrow. Okay. No, don't think there's any questions on there. Let's just check on my phone in case there's a delay. Dan's got to go. That's okay, Dan. Any questions about the tasks from today? Or anything earlier in the week? Thinking Into Results is great. Yeah, George is in Thinking Into Results. I had a win after the last 5 day. I found the man going forward who will help me with social media and producing podcasts. Very good. Good. All steps forward. Yeah, with that in mind, with Georgia posting that about thinking into results, if anybody does want to ask the opinion of somebody who's already in thinking into results, so when you've had a look at the details, you know, and you're going to be getting these testimonials and email bits of information about it, the special offer, I've done a reduced price and a ton of bonuses that are available this week. So if you look at it and think, not sure, if you want to speak to somebody who's in it already, there's 3 or 4 people who are in this group who will be able to help you. I'm sure they won't mind giving you their opinions. So just post in the group, just ask if anybody's already in it what they think. Steve's really interested in thinking into results. Yeah. It's absolutely life-changing. I know I would say that, but it really is. And I don't want to turn this into a sales pitch, so I'm not going to. But it will be the best decision you ever make if you join Thinking Into Results. It's just changes everything. So, no questions. No questions for me today. Well, I'll just hang on because I know there's a delay, so I'll just hang on. So back tomorrow at the same time, 6:30 p.m. UK time. In fact, I can put the link in here, I think. Let me put the link in. Just for people that are interested in having a sneaky peek now. There we go. I'll put the link in the comments if anybody wants to have a look at it now. And it all runs out the offer runs out on Sunday. So, you know, again, take me up on the hot seats, the group hot seats, if you want to have, you know, a bit of coaching around something from this week, or around your goal, or around self-image, or, you know, whatever you think you might need a bit of help with. I'll just divide my time over whoever's in the hot seat group tomorrow or Friday. In fact, I'll put that in here. So hot seats is that's the hot seat link that I've put in. And the discovery sessions are for people who want a one-to-one chat with me about, you know, people who really want to move forward now and start moving towards that C-type goal and taking serious action. You know, if you know that you are at a point where you're going to have to start taking steps towards this C-type goal, or you're just never going to achieve it, really need to be thinking into results. But you can book a discovery session, which is a one-to-one private chat with me, and that's emmahaig.com/121. So the discovery session is the private one-to-one one. So feel free to do either or both. If you want to do both, that's okay. That's okay. But, you know, I would encourage you to use, I know I keep saying it, but use me this week. You know, we've got these sessions where you can ask things. I've just spotted some questions. Oh, okay, I'll come to those in a minute. You know, come and ask your questions here, ask your questions in the group, book a one-to-one, or come on the group hot seats. Use me while you can for free, because that's what this is all about this week. Lynn O'Higgins, any advice how to deal with family members who may fear the growth we can have? Well, first of all, Lynn, is it actually that they fear the growth you have, or is it your fear about what they will think? That's my first question to you. So you can answer that while I answer Connor. So, have you got family members who actually are scared of the growth you're going to have, or is that your paradigm? Is it you that's worrying about how they're going to react to your growth? And Connor, what is your opinion on absolute morality? Crikey, I should have brought my wine. Does God reward us for being a good person? Connor, you need to get working with the law. Working with the law is all about, it's the laws of the universe. I'm not a religious person, so for me, it's the laws of the universe angle is perfect, but actually what it's talking about, the law is, or the laws are God's laws to people who relate more to God and that side of things. So if you get working with the law, it talks to you about that. This is basically what it is, okay? Abiding by the laws of the universe. People who are religious would say it's abiding by God's laws. So, you know, it is about leaving people with the impression of increase. It is about giving out good energy, being good to people, not giving out bad energy or you'll get it straight back. You know, the laws of reciprocity, so what goes out comes back, and you know, there's too many to talk about, but basically working with the law means if you abide by the law of obedience, you know, you work within the rules that you need to get a good outcome. You know, you don't take from people more than you give them. You know, there are so many that you could tie back to somehow being a good person, I suppose. So I would say read Working with the Law, because I firmly believe that working with the laws of the universe brings you what you want. Not everybody believes that. I didn't until I actually understood them, because, you know, there's a lot of crap flying around about what that means. But get the book. That's what I would say. Put it this way, people who aren't good generally get what's coming to them one way or another. What else do we have? Yeah, I'm just going back to, I can't see a reply from Lynn, but just going back to what Lynn was saying about advice, how to deal with family members who may fear the growth we can have. This is a big fear that people have, and it's fear that I had when I started, actually, because you kind of feel like maybe you're going to outgrow people, I think. Well, certainly that was the kind of fear I had. You know, what if I change and I start to not like the people that I'm with, or, you know, not like the people I'm spending my time with? What happens is, it is actually quite a natural progression, and you start to mix. You start to attract the people who are on the same vibration as you, on the same frequency as you. So I hardly spend any time at all now with people who aren't on my frequency, even family members. And I've done that purposely because I've had to, because there are certain members of my family, as there probably are in your family, who will just bring you down, especially as you go through this journey and as you start to improve your own outlook on life, and you start to get this real firm belief that actually, if you just do these things, you are going to have that life that you really want to have. it changes your paradigm, it changes the way, it changes your frequency, it changes your vibrational level. So actually what you find is that some people around you, when they're around you, they will lift up. They'll lift up to your vibrational level. If it's strong enough, they will kind of match it. Their frequency will come up, and they will start to be a little bit different around you and a bit more positive. But there is a natural tendency to kind of start to gradually distance yourself, just because you're not, you find out that you don't actually have the same things in common. And I know that can sound a bit scary, but actually it's quite a natural progression, and you find yourself wanting to spend more of your time with the people who are on the same wavelength as you and want the same kind of things you want and are positive like you are and believe that you can have the things that you want. So it's kind of a natural progression. But what I do find, that question that you've put, how to deal with family members who may fear the growth we can have, that sounds, the way you've said that sounds to me as though that's your fear, and not necessarily that they've said to you, I'm worried what will happen if you grow. Might be wrong, but just, and that's very common. It's particularly my parents' views about being wealthy and being seen. I was always told, don't be a show-off, stay quiet, people don't like show-offs, rich people are greedy, cheats, etc. And although I don't believe that, share their negative views a lot. That is classic paradigm. I bet you, Lynn, most people in our age bracket were brought up with that belief. You know, my mum used to say, rich people, they live in a different world to us. They just don't understand what it's really like. You know, what was it my granddad used to say? He used to say, if anybody started to brag, if anybody started to show off a bit, he'd say, what do you think you're on, your father's yacht? You know, that's exactly the kind of thing. That, and I realised the other day actually when I was talking to my mum, she said something that she said to me thousands and thousands of times, and I've never picked up on it really before, but she said to me, oh, it's hard, isn't it? And I can't remember what we were talking about, and I said, what's hard? And she said, well, just everything. And that is like the mantra that I grew up with. Oh, it's hard, isn't it? Oh, isn't it? Oh, it's hard. It's difficult, isn't it? That's kind of what I grew up with. So, you know, life's hard, isn't it? That's what I was brought up with. So yeah, but the thing is, you have to make a decision, okay? Because you can stick with that view, you can stick with that paradigm, or you can change it. You've got to make a decision. You know, I was saying yesterday, all your results are a combination of decisions that you've made up to now, and going forward they're going to be a combination of all the decisions that you make. So you've got to make a decision whether you change that or not. And the thing is, that paradigm will hold you back, because that fear of what other people think will stop you doing what you need to do to achieve what you want to achieve. And there's no other way to do it except to decide you're gonna do it and change it yourself, you know, and get past the fact, you know, they're not going to disown you. If you're, and you've got to ask yourself, you know, if you actually became really wealthy, if you got what you wanted out of life, would your parents be really unhappy with you? You've got to ask yourself the question. Paradigms, they're buggers. And they're very powerful. How do you deal with emotional burnout when helping others and they are very narcissistic and try to turn on you? How do you deal with emotional burnout when helping others and they are very narcissistic and try to turn on you? I distance myself from them, David. Some people you just can't help, I'm sorry to say. Now, when it's people, maybe parents, or somebody that relies on you when you can't walk away from them, you've got to distance yourself on an emotional level. I got really good at that. I am very good at that now. And everything changed. You know, this is all about how you feel. Okay, it's all about how you feel. That if you had a totally neutral emotion about that, so if you were trying to help somebody else and you were totally emotionally, you weren't emotionally attached to whether they liked it or not, and to the way that they reacted to you, it wouldn't be so important. It's all about how you feel, and it's your paradigm that makes you feel a particular way. But you can't help everybody, and I totally distance myself from people that that are negative in any way towards me. But what I will say is, when you're helping others, sometimes it depends how you're helping them. If you're helping them because they've asked you to help them, there's not normally a problem. If you're trying to change them, if you're trying to help them because of something you think they need, that's different, and you can't do that. You can't make somebody else change, not and stay on good terms with them usually. I guess if you want your goals bad enough, you'll sacrifice your close ones. I get the same message from my parents. Yeah. I just I don't spend very much time at all with family members of mine who are negative, and there are a lot of them. But you don't cut yourself off altogether, obviously, from family, but you can limit the amount of time you spend with them. There's a particular family member that I talk about quite a lot in my Thinking Into Results group, which I probably shouldn't. But a particular family member who I have now limited to, I'll only see them once every 6 weeks, and I only see them for no more than 2 hours. And I've made that clear to the people around me because they bring me down, and because of the work I've done on myself, I am quite susceptible now to other people's negativity. I never was before, probably because I was negative myself. But I find it emotionally draining to spend time with people who moan all the time, particularly who complain all the time about the current situation but won't do anything about it. I've got no time for them, I'm afraid. And so I do limit the amount of time I spend. And that's why things like this, when you see how many other people there are out there, obviously I see it all the time because of what I do in the community that I'm in, but when you realise there are people who think like you, who are all striving for more, who are all believe that we can all have what we want if we all, if we just buckle down and we're persistent and we have faith, and and who are supportive and who are positive all the time and who are on your frequency. When you find a group like that, it makes you less reliant on the other people. So you just gradually spend more time with the people you want to spend your time with, instead of the people who are bringing you down. The thing you've got to remember as well is, most people's parents, most people that I speak to, your paradigm was given to you by your parents. Let's not beat around the bush. It was given to you by your parents, your grandparents, the people that brought you up. That's where that paradigm's come from. That money story, whatever you want to call it, all those beliefs, the self-image, the habits you've got, everything came from them. So you get this almost like a guilt complex that you want to change. I see myself in the mirror and I say things and I think, oh, that was my mum. Or my husband says all the time, oh, you look just like your mother then. Or, oh, you sounded just like your mother then. And I hate it. But that's, of course I do, because that, because of what we've spoken about. Everything comes from your parents. So that, you either, but what you've got to understand is, they haven't done that purposely. They've done it because of what they had at the time and because of their paradigms, because of what was given to them by their parents, you know, their beliefs and their things they were brought up with and their habits and their self-image, you know, and you've got to go back generations sometimes to find out where your traits have come from, because they've been passed down so far, and your parents just bring you up the way they think's best. You know, they try to keep you safe, they have an idea for you of what they want for your life, and that's what we talk about when we say you're on a path and you might not necessarily have chosen that path. That's what we're talking about. So when you decide to change that path, they probably won't like it, but you've got to make a decision how important it is. Like you say, if you want your goals bad enough, you sacrifice your close ones. And like I say, you don't have to cut them off completely. You just limit the amount of time, and you learn to become emotionally detached from them in certain ways. I mean, I don't get upset, I don't get angry, I don't worry, I don't have any of that negative attachment to anything that anybody else says, whether they're relatives or not, because I have my own goals. I know what I'm working towards. I think it's my life. I don't want to get to the end of my life and look at it and think, well, that was crap, and that's because I didn't want to upset that person. I don't want to upset that person. I mean, that just breeds resentment, you know. So you don't want that. You want to look back and say, all the things I did because I was trying to achieve this, and I'm so glad I did, because I wouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't have done that, and I wouldn't have done that. You know, that's where we all want to be. You know, I think I mentioned the other night that Earl Nightingale quote: most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. That is so true of so many people, and to be honest, that's true of my family, I would say. You know, they're just hoping to getting up in the morning, going to bed at night without too many bad things happening. That's kind of a good day for them. I don't want that. I don't want to tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. That's not what I want. I want a life that I can look back on and be proud of, and say I've done the things I wanted to do. I think the internet's struggling a little bit. What does Brit say? Narcissistic people will kill you. Get out while you can. They don't care about you. Most therapists won't work with narcissists. Yeah, and you know, I'm pretty careful about who I work with, because some people you just can't help. You just can't help. And why bother? I mean, it's not your life, it's their life. They've got to make the decision they want to change, or they don't want to change, or, you know, it's everybody's got their own life to live, and you've just got to focus on making yours the best it can be. That's what I say. Right, what else have we got? Any more comments? What time are we on? 18 minutes past. Okay, can hang around a few more minutes if anybody wants to ask any more questions. It's really funny, you know, I have this conversation quite a lot with my TIR group about how, when you do this right, obviously they're in mentorship, so they've got like a structured path, but when you apply what we're talking about and you take all the steps, I know you've only got 5 steps today, there's 12 steps in thinking into results, so I've pulled 5 bits out of that today. But when you actually apply it consistently and repeatedly, I mean, when I say repeatedly, I mean, in thinking into results, we cover 12 lessons over 24 weeks, so we spend 2 whole weeks on each lesson, and it's literally the same lesson every day for 14 days, watching it twice a day for 14 days, doing the exercises twice a day for 14 days. That's what I mean by repetition. It's serious repetition, but that's how we reprogram your subconscious mind. That's how we do it. But when you do, and even the things you've learnt this week will give you a quick start on that, which is what the whole point of it is. when you do and you apply it, because it's reprogramming how you think, it's not just reprogramming what you do, everything changes. You know, the way you see other people changes, the way they see you changes, the way you respond to other people changes, and the way they respond to you changes. And it affects everything. You know, Bob always says it's not just about money, it's about your relationships, your health, your wealth, it's about your life. You know, your thoughts, your mind control everything about your life. Okay, your mind is who you are. Your mind is who you are. Everything about you as a person is in your mind. So as you start to change that, you start to change everything about you, and you design how you want to be and how you want your life to be and how you want your results to be. It's phenomenal. The scope that it has to change everything, not just change one piece, is just mind-blowing, to be perfectly honest. Okay, haven't got any more questions, I don't think. I'll just wait till the streaming catches up. It is a bit slow. Right, I think we're done. Can't see any more questions coming through or comments coming through, so I guess we'll leave it there for this evening. So just a reminder, Thinking Into Results, the next intake is open today. We start on the 4th of May officially, but you do get access to everything before that if you register this week. There's an early bird offer on this week, which is only open to you people in the 5-day challenge. So please have a look when it comes through. The link's in the comments. You will get emails and you'll get messages about it, because I just want you to see what you're missing. If you don't take it up, I want you to understand what could happen in 24 weeks. In fact, actually I've extended it so it's a year. You know, you get to work with us, me and my group, for a year on that C-type goal. So you will get, I'm not apologising for it, but I'm just warning you, you will get quite a lot of messages and testimonials and things like that. So Thinking Into Results is out today. Early bird starts today. The hot seats, I've put the link in the comments. That's emmahaig.com/hot seats. They're the group coaching little sessions where if you want some help on something. The discovery sessions are the one-to-ones. They're the private discussions with me. They're 30 minutes, and that's emmahaig.com/121. And that's for you if you know you want to move on and you want to keep going with this, and you're not sure what the next best steps are. So tomorrow, who's commenting? Oh, just lots of thanks. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Tomorrow, Law of Attraction Day. Big day tomorrow. You get to watch the top of my head while I read to you tomorrow evening. So Law of Attraction Day tomorrow, Terror Barrier on Friday, and then we're done. So I can't believe we're halfway through already. So thank you so much for engaging with me and joining on the lives and posting in the group, because it's what it's all about, and it you know, makes me feel great. I love this week. I love Challenge Week. It's my favourite week of the month. It reminds me why I do all this, and you know, this is exactly what I love about what I do. So that's it. Right, I will leave you there for this evening. Back tomorrow with day 4, and I'll speak to you all later. Thank you very much. Bye for now.